Hello everyone, this is Nathan here. So now in this video, I'd like to be just doing a brief discussion on why Jesse Morrell is a false teacher. Jesse Morrell is a very popular teacher on the internet who claims to be a Christian, but yet he preaches a false gospel of works-based salvation like most teachers. The reason is because of his pride. It's because fallen man naturally cannot see his own sin and tries to justify himself. Adam and Eve try to make fake leaves to cover up their sin. It wasn't enough. God had to give them fur coats. This just shows that man cannot justify himself before God. And it's ironic that he uses Adam and Eve as an example of how believers supposedly can lose salvation. The fact of the matter is, Adam and Eve did not need salvation. When they were created in the Garden of Eden, they were innocent. Okay, they lost that innocence the moment they sinned. They ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Prior to that, they knew no good nor evil. They were in a state similar to infants and young children. You are probably unable to remember your earliest years of life, right? You're unable to remember your infancy. That's because back then you were in a state of innocence. You did not understand good and evil. This is why babies and young children are unaware of their own nakedness. The fact that all adult men, minus the mentally retarded, are aware of their nakedness is a testament to the fact that we've lost our innocence. And Jesse Morrell teaches that it is supposedly possible for a believer to live sinlessly. He repeatedly teaches that while a believer can sin, he also teaches that it is possible for a believer to choose to live a sinless life. But if that were possible, Mr. Morrell, here's my question for you. If that were possible, why did Jesus die on the cross? And like all false teachers, including Dan Corner, Jesse Morrell arrogantly claims that, a believer must have living faith, faith plus works in order to get saved, and that a dead faith is not enough. He tries to cite James 2, but guess what? What does James chapter 2, verse 10 say? For whosoever shall keep the whole law, yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all. There you have it, Mr. Morrell. So James 2 in context teaches that, quite frankly, it is impossible to be saved by keeping the law, by keeping the 10 commandments of God. Because if you were to try to get justified by the works of the law, by trying to keep the 10 commandments, you would have to keep all of them perfectly. And this also puts to rest the idea that you have to live like the devil, or you have to live in sin, or have to go back to living in sin in order to go to hell. False prophets such as Dan Corner teach that if a Christian lives in sin or lives like the devil, whatever that means, he goes to hell. Or if a Christian commits so-called mortal sin, as per Catholicism, he goes to hell. All this junk is debunked by a single verse in the Bible, James 2:10. For whosoever shall keep the whole law, yet offend at one point, he is guilty of all. The Bible is very clear that if you commit one sin, you are guilty of all sins. If you're guilty of all sins, then you deserve to go to hell. So therefore, it only takes one sin for you to deserve hellfire. So if it only takes one sin, how can Jesse Morrell arrogantly claim that only Christians who live in a state of unrepentant sin, or just live in sin, live like the devil, go to hell? And the idea that a Christian can go to hell is just pure garbage, because the Bible says that we're saved by faith, grace through faith, and that not of yourselves is the gift of God, not worthless any man should boast. But according to Jesse Morrell's false gospel, false religion, a believer has every reason to boast of his salvation. A believer who earns his way through salvation just to heaven by keeping God's laws has every reason to boast. He can say, "Oh, I achieved it. I achieved my own salvation." What is the difference between this and Buddhism? Buddhists claim that you can achieve enlightenment, a state of enlightenment, by keeping the Eightfold Path. Muslims claim you can achieve paradise by keeping the Five Pillars. And these false prophets, such as Jesse Morrell, teach that you can earn heaven by keeping the 10 Commandments. The Bible says it's impossible. The Bible says it only takes one sin to make you worthy of hell, and all sins lead to hell. That is the stark reality. The James 2:10 teaches two facts. One sin makes you guilty of all sins, and therefore one sin makes you worthy of hell. All sins make you worthy of hell. All sins lead to hell. So this puts to death every single false religion in the world, which requires a person to be more good than bad, to do more good than bad, and to only keep certain commandments and avoid so-called mortal sin. The Bible teaches that there is no such thing as mortal or venial sin. The Bible teaches that all sin is mortal, and that only one sin. Well, here's the thing. If Adam, lost his place in the Garden of Eden by committing one sin, what does that say for us? Exactly how many sins do we have to commit in order to lose our salvation, Mr. Morrell? If it were possible to lose our salvation, all of us would be going to hell. Because because if Adam lost his place in the garden even with one sin, how many sins do you think it would take for a person to deserve hell? It only takes one sin according to the Bible. So this is why Jesse Morrell's teaching is complete garbage and nonsense. Thank you and God bless you. It is just infuriating and just sad that we have to live in a day and age where millions and millions of false prophets are deceiving the masses with their work salvation garbage. Thank you.